There was a ton of noise off the court, especially with all the ref drama, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander totally owned the clutch moments. That helped OKC barely tie up the series. Now they were back home for a huge Game 5. Meanwhile, Indiana had lost home court and momentum. They had to face the pressure of playing on the road in OKC. Just like last game, Hartenstein was in the starting lineup again. OKC wasted no time going at their too big lineup. Chet somehow dodges Turner's block in a weird way. Both teams clearly understood how big this game was and started firing. Hartenstein's passing kind of explained why he got the start.
Indiana, we've talked about this. You were one of the fastest teams, but you got to slow down. Gilgeous-Alexander didn't slow down. They've hit 7 of their first 9 from the field in the paint.
Then SGA hit Siakam with a sick crossover move. It was enough to send the OKC crowd into a frenzy. Indiana couldn't afford to slip early and called a quick timeout. Dort got away with what looked like a clear foul. Coach Carlisle argued hard and ended up with a tech. The commentators actually said it was definitely a foul. OKC players looked way more locked in on 50-50 balls, but maybe that tech worked out somehow. Because Dort soon found himself in foul trouble.
Siakam poked away by Wallace. Caruso releases. He's got one man to beat. It's Haliburton layup. Blocked from behind. Mathurin. Terrific hustle.
Mathurin, who had a big Game 4, chased down a block beautifully. Still, OKC had already grabbed control and were hitting threes. They had no problem building a double-digit lead. SGA kept kicking it out, and the threes kept dropping. He had 0 assists last game. Now he already had 3. Indiana fell right into OKC's traps and kept turning it over. OKC kept turning those turnovers into easy buckets. Their three-point shooting was on fire. This is exactly the kind of game OKC wants. And then Haliburton had to leave with lower body pain. Indiana tried to keep up with some threes of their own. But Haliburton was still scoreless and clearly struggling.
Beautiful pass to Shepherd. Shepherd stolen by Caruso. Outlet Williams goes up again. Layup is good, and the foul. Costly turnovers once again from Indiana. And
the home team kept capitalizing on every Indiana mistake. With OKC hitting from outside like that, it looked like they could blow Indiana out. At that point, Haliburton was completely shut down.
Good defense from Siakam. Gilgeous-Alexander gets in the paint. Tough shot. Got it. He's in double figures.
SGA, who'd been focusing on passing, hit double digits in points. OKC's 1-2 punch was doing exactly what they needed. Even Dort hit a crazy kick out to J-Dub for an open shot. Chet wasn't scoring much, but his defense was top tier. This is why you keep Chet on the floor. Indiana was dangerously close to getting blown out. They sat Haliburton, who still hadn't scored. Ironically, that's when Indiana started finishing the quarter better. Even though Mathurin missed a wild layup, the team's energy picked up and they slowly closed the gap. Still, OKC clearly dominated the first half. Even considering Haliburton's leg issues, his lack of impact was seriously concerning. The 1-2 punch gap was painfully obvious. The big question was whether Haliburton could bounce back or not. Meanwhile, SGA was killing it from mid-range like always. Haliburton kept hesitating even when he had open looks. But Indiana's ball movement started to click a bit. At least Haliburton's passing helped fuel a little run. OKC didn't fall apart like in Game 1, but Indiana somehow stayed in it despite being outplayed. Luckily for OKC, Jalen Williams was stepping up big time. His scoring really helped take pressure off SGA. It all came down to which team could get hot in the middle of the quarter. And just like that, J-Dub was OKC's top scorer. But Indiana somehow kept the deficit around 10 points. Eventually, OKC's red-hot shooting cooled off a bit. Then McConnell came off the bench and went on a little scoring spree.
Spins against Williams. Layup, it's good. More TJ McConnell magic, and it's a 7-point game.
Suddenly, Indiana had made it a real game again. It felt like Game 1 all over again. Indiana playing zombie basketball. Toppin and McConnell led a bench explosion for the Pacers. They kept grinding and cut it to a 2-possession game. At this point, their ability to hang on was kinda scary. Was I the problem all along? Feeling the pressure, OKC leaned heavily on SGA again.
McConnell, crossover, gets in the lane, jump shot is good! 17 from McConnell. A little shaken up as he got fouled.
But McConnell was suddenly looking like Indiana's MVP. OKC could no longer coast. They were in a real fight now. Still, they relied on SGA to keep creating scoring chances, and he managed to slow Indiana's crazy comeback for a bit. Indiana subbed Haliburton back in after a long rest, and their momentum hadn't cooled off at all. OKC even won a coach's challenge to get the ball back, but SGA's lazy pass turned into a brutal turnover. They just couldn't fully shake off Indiana's pressure. Haliburton still wasn't scoring, but his passing was solid. Even SGA's aggressive layup got stuffed by Siakam. At this point, OKC's lead didn't feel safe at all, but the home team had to prove they were real contenders. Jalen Williams hit a clutch three at just the right moment. Then Cason Wallace turned a bad Nembhard turnover into fast break points. OKC barely survived what had once been a 2-point game. Their ability to protect the lead in crunch time was impressive. SGA used all the attention on him to create smart plays. In the 1-2 punch battle, OKC was clearly on top.
Fakes. Kicks it out, stolen by SGA. 2-on-1. Gilgeous-Alexander, layup is good, and a foul! A beautiful left hand and a chance for a three-point play.
SGA turned his own steal into an and-one finish. Just like that, OKC pushed the lead back into double digits. Indiana, who had almost tied it, looked completely deflated. J-Dub, steady all game, hit a new playoff career high. Jalen Williams' stats tonight were wild. Indiana's comeback fire just fizzled out completely. Alex Caruso brought out his signature hustle plays again. It totally crushed the already frustrated Indiana players. Tyrese Haliburton never lived up to his name in this one. During crunch time, Nembhard and Haliburton just kept turning it over.
Square Garden, he can get hot. Williams has been hot all night, falling away, got it! 40 points for Jalen Williams!
Meanwhile, J-Dub stayed hot and dropped a 40-piece. Aaron Nesmith had one nice follow-up dunk with some fire, but it was way too late for a comeback. Haliburton and the starters headed to the bench. He went 0 for 6 from the field. OKC held strong in the clutch and walked away with a huge win. They almost blew it, but in the end, they held on. Their intense defense forced a turnover party from Indiana. Nembhard and Haliburton combined for 7 turnovers, and SGA and J-Dub completely took control of the game. Now OKC is just one win away from a championship, but Indiana, dragged down by Haliburton's calf injury, now faces what could be their final game of the season.
He's not 100%. It's pretty clear. The next game, and we were concerned at halftime, and he insisted on playing, and I thought